Do you own a Chrysler product or some other product made by FCA, like a Jeep Grand Cherokee? Well, so do I. And after about 2 years of ownership, actually less than 2 years, about a year and a half, the paint started chipping off the calipers. Pretty common problem with these cars. No matter how much you complain about it, FCA just doesn't care. So what we're going to do today is try to repair this. So my Jeep is a 2016 SRT Grand Cherokee, and I've owned it since brand new, and it has 64,000 miles on it, and I have had enough of how these calipers look. So what we're going to do is try to fix that. We're going to start by removing them, getting them cleaned up, and then we're going to paint them with a clear, and hopefully we don't disturb the part that says Brembo on there, even though part of me would rather have that Brembo off there, since obviously Brembo isn't producing a good product that can have the clear coat stay for normal street use for more than a year. So that's what we're going to do next. I went to the auto parts store and I found myself some clear engine paint. This paint is good to 550 degrees. This should be just fine for street use for calipers. I know for race use it'd probably be a little bit higher and this would probably not work well, but I think the temperature coverage will be just fine for this application. Like I said, we're gonna clean these up. I'm gonna start by hitting them with a pressure washer and try to blow some of those paint chunks off, and then scuff it real lightly with the red Scotch-Brite, and then we'll get it going. So let's get started. So we're gonna get started by pulling the brake pads out and disconnecting the brake line, and we'll find something to put in the brake line so it doesn't leak all over the place, and then we'll take it off after that. Okay, we're gonna get these cleaned up. I like to use this on my wheel cleaner. Works pretty well for the brake dust. I'm not gonna worry too much about the back side of it as far as painting goes, because all I wanna focus on is the front. We got these off the car, we got them cleaned up, we got them pressure washed. I just wanted to give a close-up of them here. So you'll see that this area here is still shiny, and that's what's been peeling off. I've already hit it really hard with the pressure washer, so what's come off for now is what's gonna come off. So all I'm gonna do is scuff this up with the red Scotch-Brite, and I'm gonna use some dishwashing soap. And I'm only gonna scuff up the face of this. I'm gonna lightly scuff over the Brembo sticker. Hopefully I can scuff up enough of this to where the paint will stick on the front. Again, the goal is to make it look better, not to fix it correctly. To do it correctly would be a complete tear down, sandblast, and then either do a repaint or powder coat. So, but there again, you can see the right at this end here is where it starts to get shiny. So I'm just going to sand it there, and try not to put too much paint on this side here. I may sand this and paint this edge, but we'll see how it goes as I scuff it up here. So that's the next step, is to scuff it up with the red Scotch-Brite. I decided to use some TSP instead. This is pretty good for doing woodwork, or commonly used in woodwork. I found it to be really good for a lot of different uses when you're trying to degrease and clean stuff up. We got ourselves a red Scotch-Brite here. TSP works best if you got warm water, and I did not use any warm water. I used some 320 grit sandpaper on some of the areas to see if I could smooth out the edges that I thought might stand out the worst, and some of the areas that were still shiny after scuffing it up. But again, I'm not getting too carried away with it, because I know I'm not looking for perfection on this. I might touch up this scratch after we get it cleared up with a little bit of Ducati red. I might do that before we put some clear on it, I suppose. But so this is what it looks like now, and we'll get to clearing it here in just a minute. Now that we got them all cleaned and clear coated, we baked them for 1 hour. I actually baked them for an hour and then left them in the oven for a while to get a little extra heat on them. And next step is we'll put them on the car. All right, we're back, and we got these calipers mounted up, put on some new brake pads also, and they are now shiny and look significantly better. So for those who've had the same problem, this is a pretty easy repair. It took me a couple of hours to do the work, but afterward it looks great. Make sure you bleed everything out really well. But yeah, it's pretty easy repair, even though it's kind of a pain to have to do it. But I did both calipers, and like I said, took a couple hours in total to get the job done, but well worth the time to get my shine back in the calipers. Hope this video helped you out, and please subscribe and please like the video. Since I was here working on these rotors and the calipers and cleaning things up a little bit, I decided to go ahead and do a little bit of dressing up on these rotors. They had a pretty good sized lip on the edge of them, inside and the outside. That was creating a groove in the brake pads. The rotors still work well. They don't pulsate or anything like that. They're getting close to their minimum thickness. So I just wanted to dress them up a little bit, and hopefully they won't pulsate. I don't expect them to, but I adjust up both sides of them. And I'll show you how I did that here in a second. Also, when you check rotor thickness, all you're doing is checking that number there. And as long as you're above the minimum thickness, which is 32 millimeters, the rotors are safe to run on the street. If I were to turn these on a lathe, they would be below minimum thickness and had to be replaced at that time. So for now, they're good to go. And I measured them about a year ago, and they were 32.5 millimeters. So they're not wearing very fast. Right now they got 64,000 miles on them. Like I said, they're not pulsating, so I'll just keep running them until they hit the minimum. So we'll go and get everything put back together.